say something. Nick, say something.
Say something.
No, you're supposed to just say something.
Something.
Okay, all good? All right. Welcome back, everybody, to a new season. It's 2024, right?
Yes.
Well, and I think a lot of you guys will have a lot of questions for
It's
us.
episode 742.
I think there's a lot of questions on why we've been so quiet, and I know a lot of people have been asking, are we going to restart? And I think this is the best way for us to reintroduce ourselves. And there are some new faces. Can we say new faces? New face?
Yeah. Token white guy.
Dennis, you look different.
I think we should explain on why Dennis isn't with us now.
Yeah.
Okay, simply saying, if you guys know, Dennis just had a kid, and I think it's very difficult for him to commit to doing a podcast with us once a month or once every 2 months. Mm-hmm. So today we have a more equally interesting guy, and you guys...
I hope so.
Do you guys know him as Nick, as Cartier Watch Nerd, and he has been on episode 2.
2, I think.
2,
Yeah,
right?
that's
And
right.
he's back, and hopefully he's a permanent...
I'm committed. Ready to go.
Really?
You can do it.
Are you going to talk positive about your favorite brand?
Maybe not always positive.
All right, just to have a simple explanation to our viewers, what can they expect from us this year?
I think the first 10 episodes or so, we were just sort of experimenting and having fun and playing around. But this time around, we are trying a little bit harder with equipment and everything else. Actually, we have 2 other episodes that we had shot, right?
Correct.
But we're having some technical difficulties. So maybe, hopefully, eventually, at some point, we will still release clips from those 2 episodes. We've also got a video that we're waiting to complete.
All right.
So there are actually 3 videos in the back pocket, so to speak, that we're having a little bit of difficulty with. But moving forward, we're just going to do more conversations, the 3 of us, as well as with whatever guest is crazy enough to want to come on our show. And we'll see how it goes. And then we try and keep the equipment and the audio quality a little bit better. Maybe sometime in future, we will start looking at the video quality as well. But at the moment, we just want to focus on the basics and get it right.
I think to explain what happened to the previous few videos is the audio wasn't very clear, and maybe 45 minutes into the recording, there's like some parts which you cannot really hear what they are speaking about. So I think I feel personally it's very uncomfortable to release it out lah.
Right. I mean, it's definitely not the parts where I was talking and got cut off lah. Because if I'm talking and it got cut off, Denzel will have no problem uploading
Confirm
it.
put it in.
But now we've got fancy new equipment.
Yeah. Dude, we're investing money into this, man.
Applause. I think we can get some applause.
Can.
Right?
Can you remember that? Thank you.
Hey, why so long one? So Nick, what do you think you want to contribute into the podcast?
Wow, this is like an interview.
Yeah, because
like
it's
a job
new, yeah.
interview.
Because I think during episode 2, we were just talking about his favorite brand, we just talked about Cartier, but now as a host on the podcast,
It's not all going to be Cartier. And I think I told you guys, like I've started exploring outside the Mason at the moment as well. So Cartier is always going to be my favorite, but there's always other brands. I like learning new things, especially bouncing off ideas with you guys as well.
But actually, you've always had other brands sort of on the side, right? It's just that maybe now there's the balance has shifted slightly. Okay.
So this year's exploring. I'm enjoying it.
I think it was very interesting when Nick posted his Explorer as his most worn watch
Oh yeah, I know.
of 2023.
I got a lot of messages. Why are you posting Rolex? Why?
Oh really? Like as in like they were not happy with that situation?
They're not happy. Yeah.
Yeah?
A lot of people.
Oh, okay.
Would you think that's a trend going forward? Would you try to sway a bit more onto other brands?
At the moment, it's mostly Rolex, Cartier. What do they say? All roads lead back to Rolex. It's true.
Yeah, I think if people see how many Rolex you have,
I know.
they'll actually be shocked.
Yeah, Rolex watch nerd.
Probably on par with Cartier at the moment.
Yeah. How about WK? Would continue to be a watch slut?
Yeah, definitely. I still am very, very sure that I cannot be single brand or single category or single genre, whatever. I just like exploring too much. But I mean, having said that, I think in the last 6 to 12 months, I feel a change. I really feel like I'm not approaching watches the same way I used to.
In what sense would you say that?
In the sense that I think I am much clearer now in terms of what I look for in a watch. And, you know, I used to do like photography as a hobby kind of thing. And photographers always say that the first 10,000 photos you take are crap. You know, you've got to get past that first 10,000 photos before you reach a point where your photos start to get a little bit better or you know who you are as a photographer. And I suspect the same goes for watches as well, you know, like, except that the number is a lot smaller. It's not 10,000 watches, thankfully. But I think like the first 100 watches, you're just sort of feeling your way around. And sometimes you get it right and sometimes you get it wrong. And sometimes you don't know if you got it right or wrong because you sort of like undecided for a watch even if you've had it for 2 years. But I think my journey has been very accelerated because in about 4 years I've had about 100 watches that I've bought and sold, right? Some of which I still have, obviously. And probably another 30 to 50 or so watches that I've sold on consignment. So I've had a lot of contact with watches and I thank God, I feel that I finally know what I like and what I don't like. Because before this, I didn't. And it's like, I like everything, so I'll just buy everything, try. But I feel like for the first time, I won't say that I'll buy whatever interesting comes along. For the first time, I feel like I actually know what I want to buy. So, and it's very few. So, yeah.
That's why I think you go first.
I was going to say that I've noticed a lot of other people in the same mentality at the moment.
The
Like
buy-
2024 seems like everyone's now consolidating or looking at quality over quantity.
The buying has slowed down. Have you guys noticed?
Even our friend group, like we used
but-
to be always posting NWAs, random stuff, and now it's all a bit more. I don't know. It's because the price rises are now getting crazy, or
I think that's probably a contributing factor. If you sort of haven't budgeted for the kind of prices watches are at today, I think you will suddenly like, I think I better not buy anymore. It's getting nuts, right?
I think this is a topic we also can dwell more into in
Yeah,
the future
for sure.
on why retail prices has gone crazy. Yeah.
and how it affects collectors.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think it's quite obvious for you, for like 2022 or 2023, you bought a lot and you sold a lot.
Yeah, 2021, I bought like, I don't know, I can't remember what the number was. It was like 40 or 50 watches, like almost one a week. If you sort of, spread it out. But obviously I didn't buy one a week. Like at one time I might buy 2 or 3 watches. But that was like 2021. But I'm glad I did all that because now I really know what to look for, and I really know what's important to me. So yeah, I think you got to get past that point, where you finally know lah. And I kind of feel like I maybe kind of know now.
I think it's the same for Nick as well because there was a period where we were discussing, I think we had the bug that as long as it's limited edition, you have the urge to get it. I think we had the same issue. But after,
FOMO.
yeah, like it's limited and it's a nice design and you just want to get
everything.
it. Yeah.
And I was buying so many.
Yeah.
So many.
But I think moving forward, it's not going to be a visible trend for all three of us.
Plan out more.
Yeah. How about vintage?
I still have not.
Would you?
Yeah, I've been looking. Not Cartier, actually. Because those prices are crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good value vintage still.
There is. It depends on whether you look for the pieces that everybody wants, or whether you're willing to sort of, go off the beaten track when it comes.
See,
to
I'm
it.
trying to look off the beaten track.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking at Record watches lately.
Oh,
Record, a very old sort of brand. I'll show you some pictures later. Or
Is it expensive?
actually affordable, like 10 to 20,000.
Ringgit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. It's good.
There's a lot of these old, even long jeans and
Oh yeah. Apparently the Longines,
Longines are already very expensive.
the
but
good
you-
ones,
Vintage
is it?
Longines.
the good ones, but you can still find some.
I mean,
Vintage Longines and vintage Universal Genève
Oh, that's taken off now.
are getting hard to buy now.
how about Piaget? I think for the past 4 months, Piaget
Still
has
very viable, in my opinion.
But I think they're part of Richmond.
Oh, yeah.
If they do what Cartier does and start relaunching, look what they've done with the Polo 79,
Oh,
and now
that's-
look at the prices. If they do another relaunch, what's going to happen? It's going to be like Cartier again. All of their old watches is going to start rising.
With the change in trends, like you say, you are more selective in buying, and for you are exploring more on other brands. Are you guys looking forward to Watches and Wonder this year?
To be honest, not as much as previous years.
I think the same. But for you, there's never been a year where
God. I mean, like 2020, 2021, I was like, oh my God, what's coming out? So exciting, But I think like from 2022, 2023, and now definitely 2024, honestly, I don't give a shit. It's like, whatever, If it's interesting, great, At one point, I might pick it up, but yeah, it's the older stuff that interests me more now. To match my age.
But I think what we noticed each year, it's always the same things.
relaunch,
Yeah, it's just
New
relaunches.
colour,
New colours, relaunch,
more expensive.
change size. There hasn't been anything really.
Nothing.
Nothing
I
really.
mean, there are some innovations in like slimmer calibers. You've had the Altiplano some years back, and then you had the Richard Mille Ferrari collab. I think it was 2 years
years
back,
ago.
and then last year we had the weight innovation from Ming, who did that super duper like 10-gram watch. So you have things like that, but they're not mainstream, right? So if you look mainstream, there is no innovation,
Not really.
right? Everybody, nothing wrong with it lah, but a lot of people are doing reissues, right? You can criticize a reissue and say it's lazy, no imagination, whatever. But if the original model that the reissue is fashioned after, if the original model is beautiful, I don't mind that they reissue it. But they reissue it and they modernize it by making the case bigger, and then it's no longer the same watch. It's it no longer has the same charm and appeal. And I've never really understood it, because if you can afford it, and assuming you can afford it, why not get the original vintage one? Why buy the reissue? So beyond that, if you look at what is innovative, there are some good watches, but there are not many.
No. Seems to be the same. I think the night before I'm still going to be a bit excited. Watches Wonders.
Any specific brands? No.
Just in,
Rolex,
but what are they going to do?
new color.
But every year, everyone gets so excited. There's all these leaks that come out.
Every year is the same,
And
right?
then there's nothing really.
Yeah.
Actually, doing this again makes me remember how much I love this.
Just chit-chatting.
Yeah, it's been so long since we have sit down
it's been
together.
so long, so
Instead of us typing on like WhatsApp
Yeah.
groups, we're actually talking.
Yeah, for people who don't know, this is essentially like what we talk every day on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Just that we are making it.
Yeah.
Verbalize
No, the
it.
difference is that when we do it on WhatsApp, because I'm very long-winded, nobody reads what I'm typing. But now everybody has to pretend that they're actually listening.
No, actually, I think if people really read what you write, I mean, privately between us,
Yeah.
it's very knowledgeable stuff.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we read a lot.
Thank you.
Even the other day, talking about
Google helps.
Wait, what were we talking about previously?
power reserve and what happens.
No, there was a very long one.
That was the power reserve, wasn't it?
Isochronism.
Yeah.
Isochronism.
Correct.
The energy release gets
Yep.
less at the end of the power reserve.
So if with all the retail prices going so crazy for this year and with all, and I think a lot of people would always ask us, like, as a beginner who wants to start in this hobby, what's the advice? I mean, just generally, because we gave advice last year as well. We gave some advice. We did some budget series. We were recommending G-Shocks and stuff. We were recommending some basic Cartiers. But now with all the prices going so crazy, would you think for this year you guys would have new recommendations? Would micro brands be stuff where you recommend? Would like Cartier Tang be something you recommend? Would that change?
I think there's still a lot of value in micro brands. Obviously, you got to pick them.
Yep.
Some of them are start getting expensive as well, but there's still a lot of value there. But there's also like a lot of value in vintage.
Oh, this guy has changed.
No, but I mean, like for someone beginning, like you can look at all the like Seiko. You can buy Cartier Mustang still under
10,000.
Yeah. Well and truly, it depends on the quality. Look at all the other vintage stuff that you always seem to be finding. Like there's still a lot of value there.
I think it'll be interesting to see where Nick progressed from here. Because it's
It's already started.
I've got my eye on a few things.
very happy.
Because it's always it's a big dilemma when you have a very big following on a very specific brand.
Yes.
And how do you go from there?
I'm not sure.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's always the dilemma, right? In order for you to have a very strong following, you need to have a very strong focus. It's the same can be said for business, same can be said for social media, if you're a content creator, etc. If you're a blog, if you have a very strong focus, then there's a high likelihood that you have a passionate group of people that is a subset of your overall universe who then want to follow you because they want to learn from you or they want to see your experiences and sort of live it vicariously.
I think the focus is still there. It's just
Yeah.
I want to explore outside a bit.
But
Yeah.
how? Because
But it's a commitment.
Yeah.
That focus is a commitment.
like social media is such a big part of this interest and this hobby. I think for you don't need to worry because every brand you cover. But for him, like
Not every brand.
he's always very curious, like how you move forward from this
Yeah.
stage, like would we see a big change for you this year?
Let's see. Haven't thought about it. I haven't really planned it out.
That sounds like a yes to me.
I know. We'll see. Hey, going back to budget. They skipped over that.
Yeah, so you were talking about like any sort of pointers for somebody who is starting, who's just getting into watches, right? How about yourself? What do you feel? What's the context of this was watches are getting freaking expensive. So what do you tell somebody who's just starting out?
I think like what Nick says, for every brand and every price point, there's a certain level of satisfaction on the purchase. Yeah, you don't really. I mean, honestly, let's talk about the current spending power of Malaysians. And I'm pretty sure most of people who are listening to us are locals.
Yes, because he's the only Ang Mo who understands it.
Maybe we are getting Australian crowd after today. People from Perth.
I know.
Yeah, but generally, I think things are expensive. We have to be honest,
Yeah.
Without, I mean, let's just say Cartier. Without a five digit spending, there's
Not gonna
nothing.
get much.
You're not gonna get any watch. You could have gotten a small tank at 8 to 9 few years back, and now they're like 14. So my advice is take your time. Don't go broke just to get retail or go to the boutique experience. For me personally, I think I used to tell Nick this.
Yep.
I emphasize a lot on boutique experience. I emphasize a lot on how much I enjoy the service they give us. And the free gifts, the champagnes and everything. I love it. I admit I love it. I'm a sucker for those. But with how the prices are now, I'll say fuck it. Those are not important. Get what's worth your money. Don't fall for the tricks of free pouch I mean, not speaking of my own experience. I'm not using myself as experience. Don't give up on the champagne. Don't get the notebook. Don't get the pouch. Don't get the free watch roll. Those are all just BS.
Yeah, I think it depends on the person, right? I think some people will always go for the boutique experience because it connects with why they are into watches in the first place.
That makes sense.
But I guess it depends where you want to take your collection.
Yeah,
if
for
you just
sure.
want one Cartier, say, you don't really need a boutique.
Yeah.
But if you want to grow a collection of limited editions, boutique models, in all brands, some boutiques only have certain things that you can't get in an AD.
Very true, yeah. But I think like a lot of people, they buy watches because they want to feel, it's not about flexing. I'm not accusing anybody of flexing, but it's because they want to feel good about how hard they've worked and what they've achieved to be able to afford that particular item, right? So, and that's why for a lot of people, the thought of buying cheaper watches doesn't even factor into the equation because they don't feel that sense of achievement when they buy a cheap watch.
All right.
That's because they're not true watch lovers. If you're a true watch lover, then it doesn't care. You don't care, it doesn't matter whether it's cheap, expensive, whatever, right? But some people buy watches, and I think a lot of people, even watch enthusiasts, buy watches because they're sort of marking their own achievements. It's a self-reward.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's great. It's a great motivation to get into watches. But if that is your motivation, then looking for the cheapest copy or the cheapest example of a particular watch that you like doesn't work. Because it doesn't fit that mentality, right? You have to go and do the full boutique experience. And for those people, I would say, go for it. Be treated like a king, be treated like a VIP. If that's the sort of motivation behind why you love watches and want to get watches, then you should absolutely go for it, right? Because at the end of the day, the greater the inherent value in the watch, the better you're going to feel about having it, which is great. But if you are like us and you are sort of like crazy about watches and it's reached a point where it's ridiculous already, then always look for the cheapest option.
But I was going to say, maybe looking for the cheapest is maybe not always what I'm trying to get at. So many people start buying all these cheap watches. They want a Rolex, say. They can't afford it right now, but then they start buying all this cheaper stuff. So maybe those people should maybe keep their eye on the price. Instead of buying $2 here and then selling, losing money, maybe settle with a Seiko for now and then start saving. Like you don't always have to have things straight away.
All right, yeah.
I don't know. I take the opposite approach, which is that if you are saving for something that's very expensive, I think you should buy cheaper things first.
And then slowly step up.
Yeah, because you might realize that form factor which you wanted, right? Let's say, for instance, you want a 40 millimeter thick lug GMT Master 2 modern, right? And you've only seen it in pictures. You've maybe slapped it on your wrist like for 10, 15 minutes, from a unit that belongs to a friend, whatever, and then you save up for it and you buy nothing else, and then eventually you can afford it, I'm assuming at grey prices or whatever, and then you buy it, you might find out that actually that watch is not right for you.
Yeah, true.
Right.
So I feel there's nothing wrong with buying other things first to experience, because it's all going to help you form a picture of what's right for you or what's not right for you in the long run. As long as you are not buying shit lah. Buy the cheap stuff, but there's good cheap stuff. Because good cheap stuff, eventually when you need to get out of it, you will have no problem getting out of it.
Yep.
If you buy bad cheap stuff, then you're wasting money. Right? Buy the good cheap stuff. Buy the Seikos. Buy the,
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Don't buy the, I shouldn't say crap, but don't buy the stuff that's going to be harder to move on later.
Yeah. As long as you sort of, because I always say that like the key to buying is selling, right? So if you learn how to sell and if you are willing to sell, trust me, you will continue to have lots of opportunities to buy, right? So as long as you buy in with the knowledge in the back of your mind that you may sell, then you should be in a good place.
That's a very good advice. So
I think you got to go into it now, though, especially with the market. You may not make money anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not about making money. Making money is a bonus.
Yeah.
But you don't want to lose your shirt over everything that you buy. And it doesn't matter whether it's a 2,000 ringgit watch or a 20,000 ringgit watch or a 200,000 ringgit watch. At no point should you lose money if possible, right? At least not lose your shirt.
And that's where maybe the secondary market's a good place to start. Like some watches now, you walk out brand new and they drop 20 to 30%. So you can pick up some good deals, secondary prices.
That's true.
JLC, for example.
Yeah.
So is there, I mean, since all the viewers are listening to us, what's the most crappy watch you guys have bought? Like embarrassingly crappy. I mean crappy in the sense that it's not I wouldn't say it's not well built, but it's like there's a stigma in the watch world that it's a crappy watch. For instance, I mean, no offense to anybody who has this watch, people say like Daniel Wellington is a crappy watch.
Oh.
Yeah, like have you guys gotten this type of watch before?
No, really?
No way, are you serious?
No, I haven't.
No crap watch? Really? Like Daniel Wellington? I mean,
I don't have any like Daniel Wellingtons or Filippo Loretti or...
those
Fashion brand.
Kickstarter classy watch, no?
No,
Fossil.
I've never had.
Fossil is okay, right? Fossil.
Fossil.
I've never even had a Fossil.
Me neither.
Me, nah.
I mean, okay.
Shit, we are on
I've
that.
had Adidas watches. Does that
That's
count?
fine. Adidas watches is fine.
They're digital watches.
Yeah, that's
I've
fine.
had surf brand watches,
Yeah.
Rip Curl.
Yeah,
and-
because he's Aussie.
I wouldn't say crappy. I've had watches I've lost a lot of money on,
Yeah.
like the JLC Reverso.
Which
Do you-
I picked up.
Do you still have it?
Huh?
Still with
I
you?
still have it. I love it. Yeah, it's great. It's a very technical watch.
I was assuming you guys would have gotten like a Daniel Wellington.
Never.
No, I never did.
looks
I'm
like
not born from that era. lah.
Never.
Nick
I'm
looks
too
like a
old
guy-
for that era. That Daniel Wellington.
My first luxury watch was a Tag. I had that for ages.
No, that's
same,
good.
Same.
When I was young, like
Same. My first luxury was a